When a narcissist realizes you'll never come back, high energy, commanding presence. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day you step into your power. Today is the day you shake off the chains of manipulation, self-doubt, and the endless cycle of toxicity. Because today you realize that the person who tried to control you, who drained you, who made you question your worth, they no longer have a hold on you. There comes a moment in life when the narcissist, the one who thrived on your love, your kindness, your energy, realizes something terrifying. They realize you, gone, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And let me tell you something, that moment is your victory. But it's not just about leaving them behind. It's about stepping into the greatest, strongest version of yourself. And today, I want to give you the tools to make sure you never look back. Your absence is the greatest power move. A narcissist thrives on reaction, whether it's love, hate, anger, or pain. But when you remove yourself completely, when you go silent, when you vanish from their game, guess what? You take away their power. Their breakdown is not your responsibility. The narcissist will act like they're falling apart, like they can't survive without you. They'll beg, cry, manipulate, but that's not love. It's control, and it's not your job to fix them. Closure comes from you, not from them. You don't need their apology. You don't need their understanding. Closure is a gift you give to yourself by walking away and deciding that your peace matters more than their validation. Rebuild the identity they tried to destroy. A narcissist will make you doubt yourself. They'll convince you that you're not enough, but listen to me. You are more than enough. The real you, the you before the chaos, is still in there. It's time to reclaim that person. Level up, don't look back. The best revenge is not proving anything to them, it's proving to yourself that you are always destined for more. Build that business, chase that dream, fall in love with yourself. No contact is not just a rule, it's a revolution. Blocking, deleting, ignoring, it's not about punishing them, it's about protecting you. Every message you don't reply to, every call you don't answer, it's you reinforcing the new life you're creating. You were never the problem, but you are the solution. The narcissist made you feel like you weren't good enough, like you were hard to love. But the truth is, you were never the problem. You were always more than enough. And now, you are your own solution. Power, energy, future focused. Let me leave you with this. When a narcissist realizes you'll never come back, they panic, they crumble, they search for ways to pull you back in. But that's not your story anymore. Your story is one of freedom, of growth, of power. And you, my friend, are just getting started. Your absence is the greatest power move. Listen to me. Your silence is the one thing they never expected. Narcissists thrive on your energy. It doesn't matter if it's love, hate, anger, or frustration. Any reaction feeds their ego. They don't care how they get your attention, they just want it. Because the moment they lose your energy, they lose their grip on you. Think about it. Every time they provoked you, every time they made you explain yourself, defend yourself, justify your feelings, that was them winning. Even when you stood up for yourself, even when you fought back, they still had what they wanted, control. But the second you pull away completely, the second you go silent, they're left, screaming into an empty void. They'll tell themselves you're playing a game, you're trying to make them miss you, that you'll come running back like before. But as the days pass, as the weeks stretch on, and you stay completely silent, something inside them shifts, and for the first time, they feel something they never wanted to feel: panic. Your absence forces them to face something they've avoided their entire lives: the emptiness inside themselves. See, a narcissist's entire existence is built on external validation. They don't have self-worth. They don't have inner confidence. Their entire sense of value comes from controlling how other people see them, and without you feeding that illusion, they start to crack. At first, they'll act like they don't care. They'll pretend they're fine. They might even post on social media to make it look like they're thriving without you. But that's not strength. It's desperation. It's a performance. They're hoping you'll see it and react. They want you to break your silence, to come back, to give them the satisfaction of knowing they still matter to you. But you're not going to give them that, are you? Because the second you realize that your silence is your power, you'll never waste your energy on them again. You'll see them for what they truly are: small, insecure, and completely powerless without you. And let me tell you something. The more you hold that silence, the more they crumble. Because deep down, they know they never deserved you. They know they can't replace you. And that thought terrifies them. Your absence forces them to see the truth. You were the best thing that ever happened to them. And now they've lost you forever, not because you hate them, not because you want revenge, but because you finally understand your worth. And nothing, not their words, not their manipulation, not their fake apologies, can ever make you forget that again. Their breakdown is not your responsibility. A narcissist will do anything to keep you emotionally hooked. And when they realize you're really gone, they'll start breaking down. They'll cry, they'll beg, they'll act like their entire world is falling apart. But listen carefully. That is not your problem. You spent so much time taking care of their emotions, fixing their problems, carrying their burdens. Every time they hurt you, every time they betrayed you, you still felt responsible for making things right. But what did they do for you? Did they ever take responsibility for your pain? Did they ever truly care about your well-being, or was it always about them? The truth is, narcissists don't feel love the way you do. They don't see relationships as partnerships. They see them as sources of supply, and when their supply disappears, they don't feel regret, they feel panic, not because they love you, but because they need you to keep feeding their ego. And they will do anything to pull you back in. They will fake sincerity. They will say all the things you always wanted to hear. They will promise to change, to go to therapy, to be the person you always deserved. But it's all an illusion. The moment you come back, the moment you give them another chance, the cycle starts all over again. But not this time. This time, you see the game, you recognize the pattern, and you understand that their pain is not your responsibility. Because let's be real, how many times did they watch you break down? How many times did you cry, beg, plead for them to change, and they just stood there, cold and unmoved? They didn't care when you were hurting, so why should you care now? This is where real freedom begins, when you realize that you don't have to fix them, you don't have to save them, you don't have to carry their pain on your shoulders. You have one job now: to heal, to grow, and to become the person you were always meant to be. And if they're suffering, that's not your burden to carry. That's the weight of their own actions, their own choices, their own karma. You're not their savior. You're not their therapist. You're not their emotional punching bag. You are free. Closure comes from you, not from them. For so long, you waited for them to give you closure. You waited for them to finally admit what they did to you, to finally say, I'm sorry for everything, to finally acknowledge the pain they caused. But let me tell you something. You will never get that from them. And that's okay. Because closure isn't something they can give you. It's something you give yourself. Closure isn't about their apology. It's about you deciding that you don't need it anymore. It's about realizing that their words don't define your healing, that their lies don't hold power over you anymore. You don't need them to tell you why they did what they did. You don't need them to explain their behavior. You don't need to understand their mind, because the truth is, their actions already gave you the answer. They never truly valued you, and that is all the closure you need. You don't need to see them one last time. You don't need to send a final text. You don't need to get the last word. Walking away in silence is your last word. And trust me, it's the most powerful thing you'll ever do. Because the moment you stop searching for closure from them, you take back control. You reclaim your peace. You step into a version of yourself that is untouchable, unstoppable, unbreakable. And let me tell you what happens next. When they realize you've stopped looking for answers, that you've stopped needing their validation, that you've moved on without their permission, that's when they start to lose it. That's when they start chasing you. Because nothing terrifies a narcissist more than someone they can no longer control. But guess what? You won't care. You won't even look back. Because you'll be too busy building a life so powerful, so fulfilling, so full of love and joy that their existence becomes nothing more than a distant memory. And that, my friend, is the real closure you've been looking for. Rebuild the identity they tried to destroy. For so long, you were trapped in their version of you, the version they crafted, manipulated, controlled. They made you feel small. They made you question yourself. They made you believe that without them, you were nothing. But let me tell you something. That was Lee. You were powerful before they came into your life. You were strong. You had dreams. You had a light that was uniquely yours. And they saw that. They saw your goodness, your kindness, your energy. And they wanted to claim it for themselves. Not to cherish it, but to control it. Because that's what narcissists do. They don't build, they consume, they take, they drain, they strip you down until you no longer recognize yourself. But here's the good news. You are still in there. The person you were before the manipulation, before the gaslighting, before the exhaustion, that person is waiting for you. And now it's time to rebuild. It's time to reconnect with who you really are. And let me be clear, this won't happen overnight. This isn't about slapping on a fake smile and pretending you're healed. This is about real work. This is about looking in the mirror and saying, I am enough, even when part of you doesn't believe it yet. This is about reclaiming your voice, your choices, your passions, one step at a time. Remember all the things you used to love before they convinced you they didn't matter? The hobbies, the interests, the goals. It's time to bring them back. It's time to reignite the fire they tried to extinguish. Because when you start living for you again, when you stop worrying about what they think, when you start making choices that align with your truth, that's when you become unstoppable. And don't be surprised when people start noticing. Your energy will shift, your confidence will return. You'll walk into a room and people will feel the difference. Because a person who knows their worth, a person who has fought their way back from darkness, that person carries a power that no narcissist can ever touch. They wanted you broken, they wanted you doubting yourself, but instead you're rising. You're becoming more you than ever before. And that, my friend, is something they will never be able to take away again. Level up, don't look back. Let me tell you the most powerful thing you can do after leaving a narcissist. You level up. You don't sit around waiting for them to change. You don't waste your energy trying to prove your worth to someone who never deserved you. You take all that time, all that focus, all that love you gave to them, and you pour it into yourself. Because here's the truth. Narcissists don't believe you can live without them. They think you'll fall apart. They think you'll come crawling back, broken, desperate, begging for their attention. But what happens when you do the exact opposite? What happens when you take all that pain and turn it into fuel? You start growing, you start thriving, you start living a life so full, so vibrant, so unstoppable that they become nothing more than a footnote in your story. And that is the ultimate victory. Start that business you always wanted. Go back to school, hit the gym, travel, make new friends, say yes to new opportunities. Because every step forward you take is another reminder that they were never the source of your happiness. You were, and you always will be. And let me warn you, when they see you leveling up, they will try to come back. They'll reach out. They'll suddenly remember how special you were. They'll want to talk, to apologize, to make things right. But you'll see through it because you're not that same person anymore. You don't need their validation. You don't need their approval, and you sure as hell don't need their presence in your life. Your focus now is on you, on growth, on expansion, on becoming the best version of yourself. Not to prove anything to them, but to prove everything to yourself, because when you level up, When you truly step into your power, they no longer matter. They become irrelevant. And that, my friend, is a freedom worth fighting for. No contact is not just a rule, it's a revolution. No contact isn't just about blocking their number. It's not just about deleting their messages or avoiding their calls. No contact is a mindset. It's a commitment to your own healing, your own peace, your own future. Because let's be honest, narcissists don't respect boundaries. They push, they test, they manipulate. They want to keep that door open, even just a little, so they can slide back into your life whenever they feel like it. And every time you respond, every time you engage, you give them exactly what they want, a way back in. But what happens when you slam that door shut? What happens when you go completely, unapologetically silent? They lose control. They start spinning because they've lost their power over you. At first, they'll try to act like they don't care. Then they'll get angry. Then they'll try to bait you with guilt, with nostalgia, with fake apologies. But if you hold strong, if you refuse to engage, something incredible happens. They start to fade. They become nothing more than a distant memory. And let me tell you, when you master no contact, when you fully commit to removing them from your life, your peace will skyrocket. Your energy will shift. You will feel lighter, freer, stronger. Because no contact isn't just about them. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your life, your joy, your future. This is your revolution, your chance to break the cycle for good, your opportunity to build a life where they have no place, no voice, no power. And once you taste that freedom, you will never, ever go back. You were never the problem, but you are the solution. This is the truth you need to hear right now. You are never the problem. You are never too sensitive. You are never too much. You are never the difficult one. Those were lies they fed you to keep you doubting yourself, to keep you small, to keep you under their control. Because the truth is, they were the problem. Their insecurities, their selfishness, their inability to love in a real, healthy way, that was never about you. That was always about them. But here's where it gets powerful. While you were never the problem, you are the solution. Because now you get to decide what happens next. You get to choose how you heal, how you grow, how you create the life you've always deserved. You get to rewrite the narrative. You get to tell yourself a new story. One where you are the hero, not the victim. One where you are powerful, not powerless. One where you thrive, not just survive. And let me tell you something. When a narcissist realizes you'll never come back, they will regret it. They will panic. They will scramble to replace you. But it won't work because there is no replacing you. There is no finding another you. You were the prize all along. And now you finally see it. Now you finally believe it. And now you are walking into a future so bright, so unstoppable that nothing, not their words, not their manipulation, not their existence, can ever dim your light again. You are free, you are powerful, you are unstoppable. Let me leave you with this. There is no greater victory than the one you have just claimed. The moment you walked away, the moment you chose yourself over the manipulation, the gaslighting, the exhaustion, that was the moment you stepped into your power. Because this was never just about leaving them behind. This was about reclaiming you, your strength, your voice, your dreams. This was about breaking a cycle that was never meant to define you. This was about stepping into a version of yourself that is limitless, unshakable, untouchable. The narcissist wanted you to believe that you would never be whole without them, that you'd always need them, that they were the best you'd ever have. But now, you see the truth. You were always the light. You were always the source of love, of kindness, of energy. And now you get to give that to yourself. You don't need their closure. You don't need their apology. You don't need their validation. You are walking proof that healing is possible, that strength is a choice, that freedom is your birthright. And I want you to hear me on this. This is just the beginning. You are not just surviving this. You are rising from it. You are thriving because of it. You are leveling up in ways they never imagined. One day they will look back and realize they lost something irreplaceable. They will realize that the one person who truly cared, the one person who truly loved them, is gone for good. And when that day comes, you won't even notice, because you will be too busy living, too busy loving, too busy being the strongest, happiest, most fulfilled version of yourself. This is your moment. This is your future. And from this day forward, you will never shrink. You will never doubt. You will never settle again. Now go out there and own your life, because it is yours and yours alone.